friends, and welcome back. Today, I'm going to be talking about the concept of authenticity, and I got a real big versus on it, right? So, let me talk a little bit about what I mean about authenticity, and then I'll go into the verses towards the end of this particular talk. So, this is a big one, right? There are things that move the needle forward on life, or as I say, keys that unlock the door. And I just did a podcast on servanthood. You may want to go back and look at that because that moves the needle. When you can live your life and use your gifts in service to other people, baby, you just going to catapult. You're just going to move further on the journey than you would if you weren't doing that. Love is another one. Gratitude is another one. And I've done podcasts on those. You may want to go back and find those for a refresher if you're not familiar with them. Or I should say, for a refresher if you've forgotten about them. How about that? And this one right here, authenticity, it's up there. Love is the biggest one. Authenticity is probably second biggest in my opinion because it is in the same vein of love in that it is more self-love and self-acceptance. So whenever you have love in this universe, man, baby, that's a key that's just going to turn the lock. And that is what we're all looking for. We're all looking for the keys to the kingdom. We're trying to figure out how we can build a satisfying life, how we can change our circumstances, how we can change or shift our trajectory from going down a path of something that's dead end and just not bearing fruit to moving in abundance and prosperity. And authenticity is one. So, what do I mean by authenticity? Authenticity is simply loving and appreciating yourself for who you are, right? God has created you and made you perfect. And as human beings, we spend a lot of our time trying to become something else. We saw the person on the reality show, and so now we're trying to emulate their life when that is not the life that God had designed for us. And when you're living with an incongruence like that, you're just going to find that you're not happy. So living like that can oftentimes lead to things like depression or overly stressed because you're going against the grain of who you are, or you're trying to make something happen. And so you're efforting a lot and expending a lot of energy, and that can lead to ill health. And like I said, anxiety, depression, anger, moodiness, hard to get along with because you're just not settled in your being. And that is what you want. So when you are authentically you, when you accept who you are, when you accept the person that the person that God made you to be, and when you have reverence for who you are and you accept yourself, there's just a certain level of peace that you're going to find available to you. And then here's the other piece of it. This key turns the lock because God has created you to be uniquely you. He's given you specific gifts and talents. He's given you specific wisdom. He wants you to be proud of that because he's proud of what he created. And so when you slap yourself down into that level of self-acceptance, that's where confidence comes from. The more confident you are, the more opportunities are going to flow to you. People are just going to welcome you into what they have going on when you're confident. And you can only get that when you have a certain level of self-acceptance. So that's one of the reasons why authenticity turns the lock. Another reason why, as I said, because your gifts are unique to you. And you're supposed to be rendering your gifts in service to humanity. And there's going to be so much joy that comes from that, and so much peace that comes from that. And so you're just going to catapult yourself forward when you're being uniquely and authentically you. Your stress level's going to come down. when you are being uniquely and authentically you. As I said, when you're efforting and when you're expending a lot of spiritual energy trying to maintain or hold on to a vision that's not uniquely you, that is the definition of burning out. It may not feel that way in the beginning, but if you do that long enough, if you expend that spiritual energy like that, you're going to find yourself just wasted, wrecked, just completely and totally burned out. You are who you are for a reason. And when you start living that out, you're going to see everything in your life start to shift, because that's what the Creator intended for you when you came into this physical body. So when your life is not working, oftentimes it's because you're going against the grain of who you are. So when you stop and say, I'm not Sally or Susie or Ron or Ben, I am who I am, and I am going to fall in love with myself, and I'm going to figure out what my purpose is here and what I have to offer everyone else from the standpoint and from the fragrance of who I uniquely am. The universe is just going to start popping for you. You're going to find joy. You're going to find happiness. You're going to find a sense of ease about your life. So that's what we're all after. When you're yourself, universe starts shifting and aligning. The subconscious now is saying like, oh, this is what we're doing. And we love ourselves and we feel good about ourselves. So you're just going to find life flowing a lot better for you. Now here's the versus piece of it, because this is what authenticity is not. And I sometimes see people like this, and I've even had people actually speak this out loud to me. And they're saying things like, oh, I am who I am. And if people don't like me, then they can just get on and blah, blah, blah. And I ain't changing for nobody. That is something else. Because authenticity in its purest form is self-love. And when you love yourself, you're going to be constantly and continually becoming the highest and purest version of yourself possible. When you fall short, when you are being authentic, you're going to extend all the grace in the world to yourself. You're going to accept yourself irregardless of when you fall short and where you fall short. But you're going to get back up and you're going to keep trying to continue to becoming better, right? That is the mark. That is the goal. So you accept yourself for who you are, but self-love means I'm constantly becoming all that is possible for me in this lifetime. So that is not the verses where you're over here just being belligerent, like I love myself, and if you don't like it and you can get it, and I ain't changing for nobody, and I am who I am. That is not authenticity. That is someone that is sitting in a state of stunted development. And that is a person who is not going to experience the fullness of what life could offer them. So self-love means I become more at every point. And when I miss the mark, it's okay. I'm a human being. I'm going to fall short. And I love myself enough to extend grace to myself and pat myself on the back for a nice try and encourage myself to get up and try it again and do better next time. So I want you to think about authenticity as being the fullness of who and what you are as assigned by the Creator when you came in this physical form. And it's much, much bigger than probably what you are experiencing now. And finding out what your gifts are, and finding out what your wisdom is, and finding out what you can offer the world, and being able to show up as your complete and full and comfortable and secure self in any environment, and allow the universe to then send you people that will respond positively to the authentic self that you are. right? And when you fall short, just know that you've fallen short and love on yourself and accept that about yourself and learn from all of that. And then get up and say, because I fell short, this is who I'm now becoming. Like, that is what it means to be authentic. And when you have those voices that say things like, oh, if they don't love me, then they can blah. No, there is some truth to everybody not being your tribe and everyone is not going to respond to you favorably. That is a concept of self-love when you can learn to be okay with that. But you don't want to be that person that's never growing, and you don't want to be that person that's never changing. As I said, that is more stunted development. It's just going to lead to nothing. So find out who you are, extend all the grace in the world to yourself, love on yourself, get up and try again when you fall short, aim high, set better goals, constantly be becoming. That is what it means to be authentic. And when you present that to the world, everything shifts for you. So this is one of the keys. Don't sleep on this one. As I said, there's a couple: gratitude, love, authenticity, servanthood. These are the keys to everything that you're looking for. I love you, and I'll see you next time.